You know, in a recent IBM survey, 69% of workers identified this year as the most stressful time in their careers. You're not kidding. In fact, the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, also found anxiety and depression symptoms have increased by threefold since 2019. And a quarter of the people said they had mental health symptoms related to the pandemic. So these alarming numbers have many companies weighing options to reopen workplaces so workers can have a break from the social isolation and a chance to reestablish some normal work routines. So how are artificial intelligence technologies helping businesses, employees, students, and consumers safely return to a new normal during the pandemic? We're going to find out. My special guest is Kendra Keyral, Director of IBM Artificial Intelligence Applications. Welcome, Kendra.
Thank you for having me.
Kendra, isn't there still enormous apprehension about returning to the workplace?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said it best. We've done a lot of surveys, and we found people are really getting tired of being alone, and they really want to get back in and start socializing and collaborating with people again.
Yeah, well, you know, biggest concerns include fears, apparently, of being exposed to the virus, uncertainty about the future of their workplace, and the uneasiness about adapting to different workspaces, and overall just the feelings of insecurity. Now, we know that across the country, people are trying to plan for the best. Safest timing for when and how to return to places they visited every day, such as offices, campuses, public spaces, and so on. Take us, if you will, please, Kendra, behind the scenes of what's being done to ensure public safety and the return when possible.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that is going on in the background. Companies are using governments, universities, companies, they're using this AI technology to plan for bringing people back into these places safely. And in order to do that, they have to think about, three critical areas. The first being workplace reentry and facilities management. How do you reconfigure your spaces, your facilities? How are people going to engage with those spaces once they come back? How, are your locations ready to be open? You got to take in all of the local and state data and decide if they're ready to open. Then once people are actually back in the workplace, you have to monitor it and ensure safety in the workplace. And then, of course, there are people that are going to get exposed, and you have to manage for that contact tracing and care management when people are exposed. So those are really three critical areas that leaders, administrators are focusing on, and we're helping them do that.
Well, Kendra, according to the analyst firm Gensler, only 12% of people want to continue to work from home full-time after the pandemic subsides. Most want to go back to the office full-time or balance, between the two. So I guess this is where companies are left asking, how can we do this safely? And this is where I guess IBM steps in, correct?
Absolutely. You're going to see more of a hybrid working environment when offices reopen again. Those spaces are going to be reconfigured to be and feel more like a destination for collaboration and socializing and learning. So the focused work of, being on your laptop or on the phone, shutting your office door, that can happen at home. But spaces are going to be reconfigured, and they're going to feel more like hospitality inspired when people go back into the office.
Well, on the business front, IBM's been working to address these complex challenges. The new initiative that you came up with, Emerge Smarter. Now, that includes technologies and protocols to help clients and companies bring their employees back to the workplace. And what's that about the U.S. shutdown in March? Many museums, but there was one museum network created in record time, a more efficient way. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's right. One of our large clients that manages museums and research centers by the U.S. government, they wanted to open the museums, but they had a very disconnected way of managing all the personal protective equipment inventory, and they're having a hard time getting it to the right locations at the right time. So with our solution, we help them do that. We help them manage that inventory and get it where it needed to go so they could open those museums again and allow people to sort of feel normal again and go and enjoy their national treasures.
So tell us, what does the future of work and public spaces look like? Try and visualize that. And what steps can leaders, take to help employees, students, and others feel confident in returning to work, or the campus or public spaces? What's your take on it?
Leaders, they really need to base their decisions on data. They can use all myriad of data. I mean, IoT sensor data from their employees themselves about how they're feeling. They need to pull in all this information in order to create a plan, consult with health experts, follow, infection trend lines. And I think they really need to communicate to the employees and let them know all of the work that they're doing in the background to create new socially distanced space plans, to put new cleaning protocols in place, that all of the work that they're doing to, make employees feel safe. They need to tell them about it to build that trust and confidence. No detail is too small. People want to know what's happening so that they
Oh, my
feel
word.
good coming back.
My word. And we hear a lot about our little friend Watson these days. IBM's Watson works. I always think of the movie with, what's his name, when he was lost on the island and he had that soccer ball, Wilson.
Yeah.
So when I relate to Watson, I think this thing's sitting in a room, Well, he works out solutions, doesn't he? He uses data and artificial intelligence to help employers make decisions in these critical areas. So what's the latest on good old Watson?
Yeah, I mean, Watson is threaded through everything that we do at IBM. All of our products and services, are using Watson in some way, shape, or form to, comb through all of this data that employers have and smartly glean the insights that they need in order to make decisions. So in this particular solution in Watson Works, we're gleaning insights about how space is occupied and how it's used. We're pulling out information from our Watson Health colleagues about, the virus and the infection rate and, letting people know if they should reopen or if they should possibly close it again. We bring all this information forward in a dashboard. We bring it forward in mobile applications to employees and employers so that they can understand, what's happening. And they don't have to spend all of their time combing through that information. Watson does it for them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, got a lot of business people listen to this show. They're wondering what the devil they can do to stay safe if they bring employees back to work or other venues. Now, listen, if they go to this site, ibm.com/WatsonWorks, are they going to get a lot of information that, like you've shared this morning?
Yeah, we have a lot of information out there about what the solutions do, how it's helping our clients, a lot of use cases. When you think about a client, DHL is using the solution to monitor worker safety through wearables in their offices. Sonoma County in California is monitoring local COVID risk, and they're screening employees before they come back. So you'll get a lot of that information and real use cases about how this is helping people on the ground.
Well, 20 years plus you've been at IBM. You know your stuff, Kendra. You're an expert in what you do, understanding how technology helps organizations, to solve critical business problems. As the director of offering management for what is TRIRIGA portfolio? What is that?
At Tririga, it's one of the pieces of Watson Works. It's an integrated workplace management solution. So Tririga is really at the core of the Watson Works offering. It helps with setting up these new socially distanced space plans. It helps you reserve desks, for the day, reserve meeting rooms, put cleaning protocols in place, track the personal protective equipment, track the assets in your building. Wow. It helps monitor your building, all of that.
Fantastic. And you oversee executive direction of product marketing, design, development, delivery, and support of all of that. Well, you're doing a great job at IBM.com, but folks, IBM.com/WatsonWorks to really read up on them. Very interesting, all about artificial intelligence, what's going on, saving our lives, basically. And my special guest was Kendra Keyral, Director, IBM Artificial Applications. Thanks for taking time out, Kendra.
Thank you so much for having me.